All right, everybody, welcome back to another session of Rubbing Dirt. Today we got Charles with the ACA Speedworks. I believe that's correct.
Yes,
Speedworks.
sir. Day Speedworks.
Now, kind of questions I got for you are a little different than questions I normally got for drivers. First,
Right.
what made you get into wanting to represent all of these drivers?
Man. I would probably just have to start at the beginning of the beginning. It really kind of started out as like a dream when I was a kid. I was hooked from the first video game I ever played, where you were able to actually like start a career, make money and stuff like that. I started on Dirt Track Racing 2, which was like a PC game at the time. And they had a career mode, and I thought, man, wouldn't that be cool if I could do that in real life? And, I've kind of been sitting back realizing what's really been going on, and I've just been living my dream. So I would say that was probably a big start to it, really understanding the fundamentals of what goes into running a race team and stuff like that. As far as the relationships I've built with these guys, it's been over the plus 5 to I want to say like 8 years that I've been at that track personally. My dad got me started there probably my sophomore year of high school, and from there it was like boom, it was a drug. I was hooked. But the best part is how positive of an impact that can have on people. It can take people away from that kind of stuff, which is I really enjoy what we do. The message we have is very positive. We're all about helping people learn to get better, as well as just having fun while we're out there. Creating a positive, non-toxic environment was probably the key to it, and by doing that, you get people that actually like each other around each other, and it's a great time.
So now, I know you're not a particularly sanctioned by anybody in particular, but if say you had a driver out there that is running around with you guys that decided, hey, I want to go off and I want to try to race after UMCP or the IMCA series or the USRA, would you still be right there behind them to support them and give them all the help that you give them already?
Oh, 100%. I would dedicate as much time as I have now. I wouldn't say I've done it all on my own, but a majority of everything that I've done logistically and setting this team up, I had to just figure that out. I took some information and knowledge that I obtained through iRacing, actually. I ran a league on iRacing, and that kind of gave me a taste of how to set things up and how to do this, how to do that. So I kind of fine-tuned those skills while I was doing a little vlog I was doing while I was working at I-35. But essentially, I would dedicate that amount of energy and that amount of time into no matter anything, just anything we did. I would say that I've got a large amount of respect for these guys just solely on what they do, but mainly because I would consider myself friends with them. And the kind of person that I am, I'm very sacrificial. I give a lot. I don't expect a whole lot in return just because of the experience is what I look at. It's about the positive energy that I'm putting into this universe, not only to receive positive energy back, but just so people understand that there's positivity all around us. We don't have to always dwell in the negative. You know what I mean? That's really the idea behind the whole thing.
So now you've explained it a little bit. Got in through playing video games, and iRacing helped you kind of figure out setting it up. So with Dubby, did Dubby come into play? Because of iRacing, and you seen a couple people out there using Dubby as an official sponsor.
Well, I'll go ahead and give my iRacing team where I kind of started a shout out. It's American Dirt Racing Association, run by Cody Olson. Who's also in charge of Ram Designs. Big shout out to them. They've been a big help with the team as well. But it really kind of started with them. Like, that was the first official team that I feel like I was a part of. They accepted me. We got after it. We kicked some ass, They eventually got on with Dubby, and that's where I first heard of them. And then I'm like, what's Dubby? Just like everybody else, what's Dubby? And then you get into it, you learn about it, you learn about the ingredients and the message behind what they're doing, and it's positive as well. Love what they're doing out there. Don't mean to do any like sort of unsanctioned promoting or anything, but they are doing a deal where if you buy a shaker, they plant a tree. Like, there's not a lot of companies out there devoted to actually helping the environment around us, and I respect that. You know what I mean? So going forward with that, the dubby sponsor, I just I dug into it. I figured out what it was going to take, and realized that we have a market with what we're doing. That not a lot of other companies really have the advantage of take, because what Dubby has to do is they got to fight against big energy, right? A lot of all these other smaller energy drink brands are coming up and they're just popping out of the woodworks, right? But what sets Dubby apart is how they do things.
And definitely. I mean, I've tried the products. I've been sponsored with them for now, I think, going on close to the year mark with them, or well, partnership rather, not sponsorship.
Right.
And yeah, I used their product during the last 24 hours race on Project Cars I did. You want to talk about no crash? I drank it, a couple different shakes, and I think I ended up racing about 16 hours out of that 24-hour race.
Yeah.
So, not saying that's the healthiest thing to do on your body, because obviously it needs sleep, but
Right.
it definitely beat my first 24-hour experience where I was doing nothing but drinking Red Bull. And that was one thing, the person that I teamed up with on that, they reached out to Red Bull and they were sanctioned through Red Bull, so we were representing Red Bull Racing.
Oh, wow.
But that wasn't particularly my thing, because then I realized after so much Red Bull of being drank, I kept crashing. So
Yeah, I mean, we learned a lot about this in our sports science classes, even back in high school. Like, when you load your body up with all that sugar, you've got this thing called a glycogen storage, and that's where all your processed energy from your body goes, and that's what gives you the alertness, the awareness, the focus, just regular baseline throughout the day, right? Well, now you've introduced caffeine as well as a bunch of sugar, so you're overloading that, right? That's where your crash comes from, because it's depleting it so much faster than it normally would. So then you're left without it. That's why I like W, because it doesn't give you that crash. It's not loading up your glycogen storage. It's not tricking your body into thinking it's doing something that it's not supposed to be doing, but it is. It's literally just natural caffeine pulled from coffee beans. That's the way that's advertised, right? That's what they do.
yep.
Along with some other patented ingredients that also enhance focus and awareness without, altering anything in your body. So it's really nice. I like that the effort's been put behind their cause, as well as the effort going into the ingredients, where they source them, everything like that. So that's just another positive that we can just keep talking about.
Exactly.
I would say that, kind of hopping back on that topic about where we kind of came into with W, but the motorsports team that I was on in iRacing was sponsored by, partnered with W, so we were huge on that. We were promoting it. It was taking off for them. And I thought, while we were going through all of these changes with the development of the team and kind of the foundation, I thought, we're going to need some sponsors to really help us out as far as even promotion, just getting our names out there. So partnering with W is probably the best thing that we probably could have done at the time. Talking with the owner, we've come back with a lot of different ideas and brainstorming how we can break W out in the Midwest, kind of bypassing the whole quick trip, stigma, going into gas stations. Oh, energy drink, that's where you see them. Well, now we're giving it a different avenue for people to see it. And that's kind of the strategy behind it. Just working with Aaron, the owner of W, as well as anybody else that is partnered with them, just kind of helping promote the brand.
So now, you obviously, you're down there doing a lot of work on a track. What track in particular is that?
Are you talking about whenever I first started working?
Or right now, rather?
Oh, yeah, I would consider our home base up in I-35 Speedway in Winston. I mean, that's like our bread and butter. We've been there so much. We know the track. We know what it's going to do. And we know how to set up for it. As well as just seeing everybody's friends every weekend just have fun, watching these guys that you've watched growing up. Now their kids are racing. You get to watch what their kids are going to do. That's awesome, too, because I've kind of been that middle generation where I saw all the good old boys coming in, tearing it up for like their last good run, and then their kids take over, and then you just watch the exchanging of the torch. And I mean, I've experienced that myself with my father teaching me what he knows and growing up around racing and everything. So I'll always be grateful for that. But as far as passing the torch and everything, I hope I'm carrying it well.
Oh, it definitely sounds like you're doing it. I don't want to keep bouncing back to that, but onto our sponsor there or our partner. But as far as helping them break out here in the Midwest, do you feel as though maybe if we talk to the I-35 Speedway guys up there and say, hey, we'd like to try to kind of do a promotion up here sometime, where we bring some of the products up and let some of the fans kind of try it. Do you think that would be something that they'd be open to?
I'm sure if we talk to the right people and we get the right people listening about it, it'd be an interesting topic to have a conversation about for sure.
I know this is a really small podcast right now, and I know we're not the biggest mainstream people out there, but it's got to start somewhere, right?
I started somewhere, man. That's how it works. Because if you don't start somewhere, you're not going to learn how to get where you're going. That's my philosophy. I would say, back to the promotion of Dubby and everything, I've actually secured some product and merchandise from the owner. I plan on having a raffle online where, you say you pay maybe $1 a ticket and you have a limit of 5 tickets. I'm just kind of brainstorming publicly right now. But we could even go that route where all the money that's provided from that raffle, where the merchandise is all signed by the drivers, the product is what the product is. Like, I've not necessarily spent my own money, but I did contribute some funds to achieving that merchandise so we could have this raffle as a promotion. So it'll be like tubs of Dubby, which is like full-size tubs, hat, hoodies, whatever else he's going to be sending me. We plan on getting signed by all our drivers and then holding that raffle. The proceeds will go to a nonprofit charity that we do choose to donate that to you.
Okay. So now if one was to want to be involved in that raffle to get a hold of that, where would be the best place to find you for that?
Most of our dealings is going to be on Facebook. That's really our home base as far as our social medias, just due to the population of people that watch our content. A lot of people that we are familiar with, like our local fans, right? We're really just local at this point. And, I mean, we've got some fans kind of across the states that I've met personally for supporting us abroad from iRacing. That was a really big chunk of where I met a lot of people that are really helping us out with this. I just lost my train of thought.
It happens. We're all human.
Yeah, that train of thought just sailed. It's gone. I'm only happy to.
Now, aside from them, is there any other sponsors out there that really support the ACA Speedworks team? Not maybe so much as on the mainstream front of everything, but they still provide support and still help you find out sponsors for putting people on cars and helping them get what they need.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I can honestly thank every single driver in our team, because without them, without the push, without the motivation and the drive from them as well as myself, this probably wouldn't be where it's at. First of all, I want to thank Lisa Burlington. She's got her own photography company. She's the one that's really inspired this whole deal. I would talk to her down on the infield. I would do my vlogs and realized that there was probably a little bit more to it that I could do. And she really just kind of helped, I guess, push that over the edge. Obviously, all our other sponsors that have really been contributing. Dubby, Graphics Kings, Morsels by Madison, Prisms Entertainment, Strange Crew Creations and Production. They've been helping with the kind of the video side of everything. Definitely wouldn't be able to do any of that without their help. And as far as main sponsors, that's really all we have right now. Going into this off season, obviously we're looking to pick up some more sponsors that would really like to be a part of this movement.
Now you did mention the video, your video sponsor there. Adam told me that there was something that, I've not seen or heard a whole lot of tracks doing, and that's putting the cameras up on the infield and getting video shots and slow motion. You guys feel as though that's something that helps set you guys apart?
I feel like what helps set us apart is the mission behind it, right? A lot of other drivers on social media will just cover themselves. I'm covering a variety of disciplines. I'm covering a variety of driving styles. There's more than one guy. There's more than just one face. It's a team behind it, As far as like the slow-mo stuff, I've been just playing around with it, honestly. I just try to find out what people like and what they want to see, and if it works, it works. And the slow-mo stuff just kind of worked out the way it did, and then developing my own cinematography skills, just kind of the way I can edit things together, also helped. We actually just released a video on Facebook, which is our not yearly recap, but it was just kind of like a yearly promo we're going to be coming out with, where we take all our action shots that we really like, we throw them all together, and it looks really good. And that one is on Facebook right now. If you guys want to all go check that out, there we go. But yeah, I mean, as far as all those sponsors, that's pretty much what we've got and what we're working with right now, with the hopes of bringing some more people on board to even further that.
Now, not trying to throw any of your drivers out there under the bus or nothing, but how many of them exactly do you have that haven't reached out to me yet?
How many did you say? You've done Adam and you had Brett scheduled, right?
I've got Brett scheduled and I've done Adam. So how many more are sitting there hiding, waiting to hear the other half of them do it?
All right. Well, let's go down the line real quick. I've got their names pulled up. All right, so you got Aaron Jones, Brandon Dixon, Alex Dunwoody, Ava Dixon. You've already got Brett on the schedule. Cole Moore, Devin Sawyer. That's our roster right there.
All right, so I got to get a hold of Alex now and threaten his aunt on him. Go, hey, you tell him, look, I'm not going to be mean to him. It's funny, I think you did just say there's a female on your team, correct?
That is correct.
That's something that in motorsports we're not particularly known for seeing, is a whole lot of females out there. So I would love to have her on. I know I've had Katie Stahl on here. She's been the first female driver I've had on here with her husband. So if I could get her by herself, or if she wants to gang up on one of her teammates, that'd work for me. If they're all uncomfortable about doing it, they can all gather around in a round circle and answer questions together.
Well, I mean, I think Ava and Brandon could both get their interview at the same time, because that's a father-daughter duo right there. That's another unique part of our team. You don't really see that,
Oh, definitely not. But now, moving into the next side of things, looking at next year, is there any hopes that any of your drivers are going to try to chase after national points for either IMCA or the USRA or UCMP?
Talking with a lot of the guys, it's not going to be very different from what it was this year. As far as the classics, anyway, I know a lot of them wanted to kind of just stay EMOD for a little bit. They wanted to play around with going to BMOD, stock car drivers, going from modified to stock car, stuff like that. So I think next season's really going to be kind of the, what do you call it? Season was kind of experimental, seeing what would happen. I think next season's really going to be like a building block season where we just establish really build from there and just see where this thing goes.
All right. Now, if there could be anything that you would love to, support your team with, something that's a little out of reach right now, what would be that one thing that you would absolutely just love to 100% support your team and give everybody the same even playing field of everything?
Oh, I mean, obvious factor would be money. If we had all the money in the world, we could do what we wanted and just whenever, But, I mean, the fact of the matter is we're rolling with the punches and working with what comes to us first. I see that as a positive challenge because I think that really builds team character. Because without the trials and without the adversities that we have to face, and if everything's just handed to us, it's really just like, what did we even do all that for, So, obviously money would be like a big deal, coming into a decent sum if we could apply that to the team and really get everybody situated to where they don't have to worry about that anymore, Establishing a sponsorship for logistic purposes like, parts or tires or fuel or things along that nature would also be a major help for the team as well. Because a lot of these guys, we're just either volunteered and they're paying out of pocket, and it's just like it's all on us right now, which, I mean, that's a part of building. We're just working through it right now.
Oh, definitely. So, now, going from, your experience, starting out when you was young, playing games, up to now here in real life, is there anything that, has thrown you a curveball, more or less, or do you feel as though everything has kind of led you up to here where the point is now and there's not a whole lot of things left that'll be thrown at you that could surprise you?
I'm going to say I'll just be ready for anything that happens. I've faced a whole lot more in my life personally, surviving a brain tumor, dealing with athletic injuries all through high school. Like, my purpose is this. If there's anything such as a manifest destiny, it's what's going on right now. I believe I was born to do this.
Well, I know certainly without you and others like you, could be a completely different story for a lot of people out there that are trying to make their way into racing. So we do thank you for that. And, I wish there could be something more that we could help, but hopefully this finds you, and hopefully some other people hear about you, and some other people love to give you guys some pointers and tips here and there on some other tracks, maybe get you guys to try to travel around to a different track or two, and maybe somebody gives an idea out there to, even though it's a building block season, try to run after some national points or a Rookie of the Year title.
For sure. I mean, I'm not going to hold any of the drivers back. They're going to do what they want to do, and I'm there to represent them 100% of the way. That's how it works. And I stand by that, no matter what happens.
So I do have one question. What is the oldest and what is the youngest driver on your team?
Well, I'll say that the oldest driver, I'm not going to just spit his age out there because I don't want him to beat me up later. I'm going to say that the oldest is Aaron, and then the youngest is Ava.
Okay. So, Age kind of is a broad spectrum out there anymore, especially here. And we did have, with the USRA, we had a 16-year-old take the top 4 in tuners. Uh, so that was crazy to get to interview him and hear him explain his life of struggling to do football and racing on the same weekends.
I could not even imagine.
I asked the question. I said, "So has there ever been a time that as soon as the football game ended, you were like, hey, we won the game. Good job, guys. I got to go to the track now. Bye." He goes, "There's been a time or two I've been may or may not have been slipping on my race suit over some football gear as we're rolling up to the track."
It's
Now,
funny. That has brought me back to memory lane. I mean, Saturday mornings were usually like film days for us, right? Right after film, we're booking it up to the racetrack. That's how it was. Man.
oh yeah. Now, question for a lot of drivers and a lot of people out there. It's a loaded question and it goes both ways and can go 110 different answers. But what would you say racing means the most to you in your life?
I'd say everything. I think racing is probably the biggest part of my life next to my gorgeous fiance. Everybody's got me to this point. Like, racing has always been there. At my lowest, at my highest, it's always been there. So, I mean, call it an addiction, call it a hobby, whatever anybody wants to call it, it gets people through things. That's why I love racing.
Hey, I mean, there is a good old strong saying that says a race car will never wake up one day and decide to walk out with half your stuff.
That's very true. That's very true.
So, well, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I don't have any more questions. Is there any more things you would like to say before we do our sign out?
Just wanted to thank you for the opportunity, man. It really does mean a lot.
Of course, and I love having you guys. I loved having Adam, and I'd love to get more of your drivers so they don't have to be so scared. You can even say, hey, look, I did once, and now you guys have to go do it too.
Yeah, we'll holler at them. We'll tell them what's
up. I'm not putting any kind of pressure on anybody. Again, it's been a great pleasure. This is Charles with ACA Speedworks. Don't forget to go check them out on Facebook and maybe take part in that raffle. Good Lord, now I'm starting to have brain farts.
It's going around, man. I'll tell you what. Yeah, peace, love, and racing, man. That's what it's about.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure.